My bottom line is don't go against your inner guidance. That's what Rediscover Your Source is. Your source has been external. Your source has been everybody telling you what you should do. And my message is go within to find out what you should do, because your source is inside. So rediscover that source and stop listening to other people. I intend for this video to be basically the tone setter for this channel. All right, what's my overall message? What am I going to be talking about from here on out? Different subjects, different topics, whatever, but the baseline, the bottom line to everything I'm talking about is literally this: live your life, period. But what I mean by that is live your life according to you, period. There's so much, basically, and I don't want it to sound cliche. I want to find ways to lay it out where it doesn't sound like the same way that everybody else has said it. But just the structure of things. Sure, we need order. Sure, we need certain types of authorities and all that stuff. But there's so much about people telling you what you need to do. There's so much about this is what you need to do in order to fit into society. And that's where it starts sounding cliche. But here's the thing. Nobody teaches you really to listen to yourself. And even when they do, there's really a lot of conditions attached to that. It's like listen to yourself as long as you fit inside these boundaries still. And my message is, as much as like the craziest way that it sounds, literally don't listen to anybody else unless you want to, right? Like you can listen to people. Like there's a lot of people that I watch or listen to find inspiration and to find ideas that fit my goals and stuff like that. For me, it's up to me to choose what I want to do. I'm going to be the example of this. I'm going to be the example of everything I'm talking about, because I believe in practice what you're preaching, practice what you're teaching, live, be the example of what you're trying to get others to do. And I also believe that if I want this type of freedom, and if I want the wealth, and if I want the happiness and all of these things, then I have to be the source of that. So I have to be able to give that to other people. I have to be able to show people how to be free and to be wealthy and prosperous and fulfilled and all of these things. I absolutely intend to be the example for this stuff. So it's not just me talking about it and this is what you should do. And I really don't want to tell you what you should do other than do whatever the heck you want to do. It's your life, live it. Some people say we only live once. So why live according to somebody else? I swear I'm going to find new ways to say this stuff because I don't want it to sound cliche or like anybody else has said it. I mean it entirely differently. It's not just about you only get one life, so live it up. I mean, literally, live your life your way, period, because what if it is the only one you get? I don't want to get all into theologies and afterlife and all that stuff. Some people believe you get one life. Some people believe where spirits have, where souls, we're having a human experience, but that we're everlasting, that we've lived past lives and we'll live future lives. Whatever the case, let's just say this is the one life you get. Don't you want to live it your way then? If you're going to be here for this short time and then go, and that's it, why the heck would you do what somebody else is telling you to do? Live your life your way. Now let's go to the other side. Let's say we are eternal. We're souls here having a human experience. Then why the heck, same thing. Why would you live according to somebody else? You're here for your experience. That's your purpose, to live your way. There's so many people. I think personally, one of the biggest issues is, I think there's I don't know how to word it because I don't know the word I'm looking for, but there's just this thing where people want to figure out how not to make any mistakes. They want to find the person or the people or the ideas or the groups or whatever that have it all figured out, and they can line it up. They can list everything from A to Z, and they can say, do this and do this and do this and do this, and you'll never make a mistake, and you'll have complete happiness, and everything will be perfect. Your life will be perfect if you do these things. That doesn't exist. I think that we are here for the experience. And I think the point of the experience is to live it your way. It's supposed to be unique. Your experience is not supposed to be like anyone else's. I think every individual experience is supposed to be absolutely individual. Yet we look at other people and try to imitate what they're doing because we want to, get somewhere. There's nothing really wrong with that, except if you're listening to somebody else when you don't want to. You know what I mean? If your parents are telling you, or your parents are forcing you to do stuff you want to do. Sorry, your parents are forcing you to do stuff you don't want to do. Your leaders, your teachers, pastors, preachers, all these people who are on top on you and on your life and examining your life and saying, do this and do that. This is what you should do, and that's what you should do. And my overall message is going to be, that's why it's called Rediscover Your Source. Your source is from within. Everybody else is getting all their information from outside. The media is telling you, and like I said, preachers, teachers, parents are telling you. Everybody, especially if they're older than you, they think they know better than you. That's not, and I'm not just talking to young people either. I'm 36. I'm talking about people my age and people older. People are listening to too many other people. Everything you need, I think, is going to be found inside of you. You have what it takes to be happy, but you're seeking answers from elsewhere. Rediscover Your Source is all about literally look inside, look within, because the answers are going to be there. It doesn't mean you won't learn anything. So I read a lot of books. Those books are external. An author wrote those books. Some person wrote those books. But when I read them, they resonate. I read a lot of books that I don't. I'll read a whole book and get nothing from it and never read it again. But then there are some books where I read it and I'll read it over and over and over again because the message in it resonates. So that's what I'm saying. Like, find the things that resonate with you, find the things that you like, find the things that you want, and go with those things. By not listening to anyone else, I mean, don't go against your, what do I want to call it? Don't go against your inner guidance. You know when something feels off. You know when somebody's telling you to do something you don't want to do. You know you don't want to do it. You know how that feels. And if you feel that, then don't do it. So I know a lot of questions will come up. Well, what if this and what if that? And some of the worst case, and well, what if somebody just wants to go off and kill people? What if somebody wants to rape people? And for one, I don't know. I don't want to go off on a tangent. What if people want to go kill? What if people want to go steal? What if people want to go rape and all this stuff? It's like, if you want to do that, the bottom line doesn't change. Do what you want to do. Here's what I'll say. Consider the consequences. And I'm not talking about consequences as in punishment. I mean consequences for what it literally means. Consequences means if you take an action, what happens after that? If I go outside and jump off the roof, what happens? I slam into the ground. Either I'm injured or dead, depending on the height of the roof, right? If I go for a jog, what happens? I'm slightly healthier than I was before I went. Exercise. It's good for you. So there's good actions, and there's actions that will benefit you, and there's actions that will not benefit you. Now, let's say I want to go kill somebody, and I do that. What's the consequences? Do I want to face that? Because consequences are, if I get caught, I go to prison. Do I want to go to prison? No. So I must not want to go kill people, right? This stuff is more simple than people will give it. You know what I mean? Like, just because, and that's what I was saying by people just have the worst ideas about people. Yes, there are people who kill. There are people who steal, but the current structure is not solving that problem. There's just this whole justice system where you have to catch them, you have to try them, and they have to be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. There's innocent people walking free, and there's innocent people in prison, and there's guilty people out walking free. The current way isn't foolproof. It's not working completely. And there's nothing that says that this wouldn't work. If everybody would do what the heck they want to do, most people would be left alone. A lot of people wouldn't do the crap that they do if the pressures of society, which I'm not trying to make it sound victim-like, but there's reasons why things are the way they are. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with all the rules and all the expectations and all the pressures and stuff that people go through that they don't want to. And everybody's basically going against their inner spirit. Everybody is going against their source and their inner guidance, and is screwing everything up. My bottom line is, don't go against your inner guidance. That's what Rediscover Your Source is. Your source has been external. Your source has been everybody telling you what you should do. And my message is, go within to find out what you should do, because your source is inside. So rediscover that source and stop listening to other people. My promise about all this is that I'm going to be living this, and I will be making videos about what's going on. If something that I consider good is happening, I'm going to report that. If something that doesn't look so good is happening, I'm going to report that. But I want to be the example of, and I don't want to be the person that's just talking about this stuff and not living it. I really do believe that we're supposed to follow our inner guidance. So that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. And I'll be talking to you all about it, and I'll be answering any questions or whatever. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here only to remind you that you already have within you what you should do. If I can help you find that, if I can help you find out how to find your source, then I'm here to do that. But if anybody who's telling you, this is what you should do, take this action and this action and this action, you just be cautious of that. Nobody else really knows what you should do. Anybody who's giving you good advice is leading you back within yourself. So, for example, if you did ask me, what should I do about this thing? My first question is probably going to be like, well, what are you trying to accomplish? What do you want to do? What is your goal? Let's start with that. Okay. Now, what do you think? What do you think you should do? Like, it's not about like, I know what to do. Do this. It really is about getting you, because it's about being. It's all about being. And if you want to be free, then you just have to be free. And it's not like, how do I do that? It's not so much about how do I do it? What steps do I take? The bottom line is, what do you think freedom is? What does it look like to you? Well, then do those things. Oh, well, I can't. See, that's the first thing. I can't do that. I can't just do that. That's what I've been taught. That's what most people are taught. You can't just do this. You can't just do that. But then you look at the people who are living some of the best lives, that who are actually happy people, because I know we can, from the outside looking in, and it looks like they have money, but they're miserable people. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who are sincerely happy people. Their story is always about how they finally stopped listening to everybody else and just did what they wanted to do. They took steps that involved doing what was inside of them and bringing that to the world, and all of a sudden they're flourishing and happy. That's what I want for myself, and that's what I want for everybody who's watching my videos or consuming my content. So I know I keep repeating, but I'm not here to try to tell you what you should do. And the only time I will do that is when I'm telling you, you need to find out what's going on with you. You need to find your inner being. You need to find your inner peace or your inner guidance. You need to go there to find your answers. Outside people can be helpful. Outside sources can be helpful. So I'm not saying just ignore everything from now on. Never listen to anybody. What I'm saying is, if somebody's telling you what they should do and they're telling you things that you really don't want to go down that path, then you shouldn't. You shouldn't feel like you have to. And that's another thing is people will make you feel like you have to do certain things. You don't have to do anything. Figure life out. Figure out why you're here. The only way to do that is to let people, if everybody was worried about their own life, nobody would have time to be nosy and be all up in your business if they had their own business to worry about. I know I said a lot in this video, but the bottom line is that I'm going to be the example of this. I'm going to be reporting the good and the bad and the ugly and the wonderful and the spectacular, whatever, however things go. I'm going to be completely authentic about it. I think, and here's the last thing I'll say, and then I'll just close it out. But I think that when things are going good, of course I want to talk about the good things, but even when things are not looking so good, I fully believe that even those moments are setups for more good to come. Like, nothing's really that bad. What's the worst that can happen? I'm going to die. Okay, who's not going to die? Pain. Who doesn't go through some pain? You know what I mean? It's like, fear sucks. Sometimes you're going to suffer. Sometimes things are going to get painful. And I don't mean to turn this into a negative thing. I really want to turn it into a stop fearing the inevitable. Don't fear anything. And once you can stop fearing, then you can just live your life fully in the opposite of fear, which would be love. But I don't want it to sound cheesy right now. Just live your life and be complete. All right. Every time I make a video, it's always for the same purpose. I want you to seek for yourself, think for yourself, rediscover your source.